In discussing Frieren's role within the fantasy genre, it's essential to set the context for understanding her unique contribution. Frieren is a character from the manga, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, a narrative that diverges from traditional fantasy tales focused on epic battles and grand quests. Instead, it offers a reflective exploration of what happens after the hero's journey has concluded. The story centers on Frieren, an elf mage who outlives her human companions and grapples with the passage of time and the essence of mortality. This shift from typical fantasy storytelling highlights introspection and the emotional aftermath of adventure, emphasizing the themes of legacy, memory, and the impermanence of life. The significance of this context is profound, as it introduces a fresh perspective into a genre often dominated by the glorification of action and heroism. By focusing on what comes after the happily ever after, Frieren challenges audiences to consider the deeper implications of adventure, such as the fleeting nature of life and relationships. This narrative invites readers to engage with fantasy on an emotional level, resonating with universal experiences of loss, growth, and the passage of time. One real-world application of this concept is in how it opens dialogue about mental health, particularly the challenges that follow achieving major life goals. Just as Frieren reflects on her past adventures and relationships, individuals are encouraged to consider their personal growth beyond societal achievements. Another example can be seen in the retirement phase of professionals, where the focus shifts from career milestones to personal legacy, echoing Frieren's journey of self-discovery and understanding. Supporters of Frieren's narrative approach often praise its innovation and emotional depth, arguing that it enriches the fantasy genre by adding layers of human experience that are often overlooked. However, potential challenges arise from traditional fantasy enthusiasts who may find this introspective angle less engaging or action-packed than conventional tales. Some may argue that it deviates from the escapist nature that defines fantasy, preferring narratives centered on adventure and heroism. This concept of exploring life post-journey connects to broader themes within the main topic by influencing how stories in the fantasy genre can be told. Frieren's role challenges writers and creators to think beyond the climax of adventure, to the nuanced and rich potential stories waiting in its aftermath. By doing so, it enriches the genre, offering a fresh perspective that expands its boundaries, ultimately influencing future narratives to blend action with reflection and heroics with humanity. Examining Frieren as a character archetype involves understanding how this character embodies and influences traditional and emerging tropes within the fantasy genre. A character archetype is a universal symbol or model upon which characters in literature are based, often reflecting common traits or patterns seen across different narratives. Frieren from Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, presents a fresh perspective by subverting typical fantasies about immortality, heroism, and the passing of time. While many fantasy narratives focus on the hero's journey, Frieren's story begins after the traditional quest ends, offering a reflective meditation on life and legacy through the eyes of an elf mage who outlives her companions. The significance of examining Frieren as a character archetype lies in her ability to challenge and expand the conventions of the genre. She introduces a nuanced portrayal of immortality, exploring themes of memory, grief, and change, thereby resonating with audiences who seek depth beyond the usual adventure plotlines. By breaking away from the archetype of the young, impulsive hero, Frieren allows for stories that include introspection, continuity, and the consequences of a prolonged life. One example illustrating this concept is the character Gandalf from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, who also represents wisdom and an understanding of time's flow, though his journey focuses on guiding others rather than deep introspection. Another example is the character Albus Dumbledore from J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, who serves as a mentor figure, bearing the weight of his long life's decisions and their impact on those around him. Both characters, like Frieren, bring maturity and depth to the fantasy narrative, enriching the genre. Supporters of this archetypal exploration might argue that Frieren's character offers a refreshing shift in focus, aiming to enrich fantasy literature by exploring less conventional themes. However, some may challenge this viewpoint, contending that the slower pace could alienate readers seeking traditional action-driven plots. This tension highlights the ongoing debate within the genre about the balance between innovation and tradition. Frieren's role as an archetype not only enhances individual character studies, but also influences the broader framework of storytelling within the fantasy genre. Her narrative encourages creators to explore post-quest contemplation and emotional depth, pushing the boundaries of what fantasy can convey. By examining Frieren in this light, we gain a deeper appreciation of how fantasy can mirror real-life complexities and emotional journeys. Unique contributions of Frieren to the fantasy narrative delves into the distinctive elements brought by the character Frieren from the manga series Frieren, Beyond Journey's End to the fantasy genre. Unlike traditional fantasy narratives that often focus on epic battles, heroic quests, and the climaxes of grand adventures, Frieren's story offers a meditative exploration of what happens after the adventure ends. This perspective is centered on the titular character, Frieren, an elf mage who, due to her long lifespan, experiences the world differently, providing a profound commentary on time, memory, and personal growth. The significance of this point lies in its fresh take on a typically action-driven genre. By highlighting the aftermath of a hero's journey, it invites readers to explore themes of mortality, legacy, and the passage of time, which are sometimes glossed over in fantasy narratives focusing on immediate exploits and world-saving missions. Frieren's reflections on her past experiences with her now-deceased companions reveal a layered, introspective approach to storytelling, enriching the genre with depth and emotion. One real-world application of this narrative shift is its influence on other media, encouraging creators to explore post-adventure storytelling. For example, it can inspire fantasy games or films to delve into character development beyond the main quest, offering audiences a more holistic understanding of the impact of their journeys. Additionally, Frieren's narrative can promote literature that addresses similar themes in other genres, demonstrating how fantasy can offer valuable insights into real-life issues such as dealing with loss and the importance of cherishing relationships. Critics and fans alike often laud Frieren's contribution to the genre for its thoughtful character study and its challenge to the conventional fantasy arc. It proves that fantasy can be introspective and poignant, capable of evoking deep emotional responses and prompting philosophical musings. However, some might argue that this introspection might slow the narrative for those expecting high-stakes drama and traditional heroic exploits. Others might contend that while Frieren's prolonged lifespan offers a unique viewpoint, it could potentially alienate readers who prefer more relatable, human protagonists. Connecting to the broader fantasy genre, Frieren's narrative style influences how other fantasy stories might be told, encouraging a more rounded exploration of characters' lives and contributing to the genre's evolution. As such, Frieren's tale not only enriches its own narrative, but also inspires deeper storytelling across the fantasy domain, demonstrating the genre's potential for both action and reflection. In the fantasy genre, the notion of magic and time often serves as a foundation upon which worlds are built. Frieren's role in the fantasy genre, a fresh perspective, introduces a captivating lens with the evolution of magic and time in Frieren's world. Here, magic is not merely a tool or power, but a living, evolving entity intricately woven with the passage of time. In Frieren's narrative, magic matures, transforms, and adapts just as the characters do, unfurling a unique dynamic where magic and time walk hand in hand. This evolution is crucial because it challenges the traditional static portrayal of magic found in many fantasy tales, where spells and artifacts often remain unchanged through centuries. In Frieren's world, the passage of time significantly impacts how magic is perceived and applied, bringing a deeper sense of realism to the fantastical. For instance, ancient magical techniques may be forgotten or misunderstood by newer generations, leading to a rediscovery journey. This reflects the real-world phenomenon of lost arts and forgotten technologies that later generations strive to reclaim and redefine, such as the revival of ancient languages or traditional craftsmanship. Moreover, the concept also mirrors modern technological evolution, where outdated technologies are either discarded or reinvented to meet contemporary needs. Several critics and fans appreciate this innovative portrayal, arguing that it breathes new life into a genre often criticized for its predictability. It provides a platform to explore character development in a nuanced manner, where protagonists must adapt to a world where magic is as fluid as the tides of time. However, this approach also encounters potential challenges. Some purists argue that it may complicate the world-building process, risking narrative incoherence if not carefully managed. Others contend that this may alienate audiences accustomed to more straightforward magical systems, where consistency is key to immersion. Yet, Frieren's evolutionary magic undeniably enriches the narrative, influencing character arcs and conflicts, where questing for knowledge and understanding becomes as pivotal as the actual battles fought. This ties back to the broader theme of adaptability and growth, pushing characters and the audience to contemplate the nature of change. Ultimately, this point of magic and time's evolution serves as a cornerstone for redefining fantasy literature's boundaries, urging authors and creators to explore hybrid narratives that reflect both timelessness and transformation. In doing so, it paves the way for deeper storytelling, inviting us to reconsider our perceptions of fantasy worlds and our roles within them.